I have so much to say. I don't even know where to start, so I'm just going to start. So, if you guys haven't heard of a book called A Course in Miracles, I suggest you look it up. I suggest that you, because the book is like, I mean, crazy thick. There's this other book called Gifts from A Course in Miracles. This is what it looks like, Gifts from A Course in Miracles, that puts this into layman's terms. So this book was given to me by my grandfather. My grandfather died, I think in 2003. I was like 21 when my grandfather died. It was a long time ago. And so I was talking about this book last night to one of my neighbors, and so I pulled out my copy because I gave him a copy. And then I opened the book, and my grandfather had cut out something from Wednesday, September 3rd, 2003, and from a newspaper that was in the book. And the title of it is Unlearning in Order to Learn. And what it's talking about is how you have to unlearn religion, religious doctrine that most of us are raised in order to really secure a sovereign connection with God. And to add on top of that, so I connect every day, and I sit down and I do writing. And I know the lighting is weird right now, but it is what it is. Okay. So when I sat down the other morning, some things started to come through. What day was it? It was the 25th. So a couple days ago. So I was told that there are 7 spiritual laws. And then I start getting these downloads about the first one. And I don't have all 7 of them yet. Today I got a little bit more information about Law 3, which I think Law 3 is. So I've got 1, 2, and 3 so far. So I'm going to go into this a little bit. And I'm just going to read what I wrote. One must abide by the moral truth within their heart in sovereign thought with the Most High. This has been hijacked by false light narratives and religious indoctrination. This in itself is a spiritual crime. Those who create it and those who choose to follow are creating spiritual crimes. So then Spirit went into this example and explained how there's like sub crimes under the main crime. Keeps running out of storage. Okay. So then what was given to me was, okay, so there's this spiritual law. The spiritual law, the first spiritual law is that you must have a sovereign connection with the Creator, with God. And right out the gate, that is hijacked. If you are conditioned with your parents' ideology of religion, and it's hard to escape indoctrination of religion in the United States. I don't know what it is everywhere else, but At least that's been my experience. It was forced upon me. For sure. And it's within everything. Like the AA program, the 12-step programs, that is the government's solution for, which is not a solution for anything, but it is their go-to bullshit for people struggling with addiction. That is all indoctrination that has to be unlearned in order to create and get this sovereign connection with the Creator. So this was an example given to me of a sub-crime explaining what a crime would be under this law. I hope that makes sense. It's making more sense to me as I talk about it too, so just be aware of that. So I'm going to repeat myself about the law. The first spiritual law. One must abide by the moral truth within their heart in sovereign thought with the Most High. And then I explained, this has been hijacked by false light narratives and religious indoctrination. This in itself is a spiritual crime. Those who create the indoctrination and those who choose to follow the indoctrination are committing spiritual crimes. Now, an example of another crime under this law. It was said, subcrimes exist under each major spiritual law. Marriage. Marriage is being sealed by a so-called God who is a false God that seeks to imprison women and men and children in toxic situations, take their money for doing so, and then made to suffer mass ridicule for choosing self. Many never make it out alive or survive this crime, which I found interesting. So, you can get married to someone and commit to someone without involving money and the government and paperwork. And then also if you think about it, when you get married, you're doing this under God, okay? But it's not the real God. It is a false light God that was created by religious indoctrination. That is a spiritual crime. So it is literally doomed to fail upon agreeing to it, because it is a spiritual crime. And then I go into a little more explaining. A mutual choosing to be in a real love marriage in communion with the Most High costs nothing and brings freedom, love, and understanding, equaling the most benefit. Free of I don't know how to say that word, y'all. Free of judgment, ownership, paperwork, and involvement of a corrupt government who only wants to steal your energy, resources, and create more crimes against humanity. Perpetuating the immorality of the system, fueled by pure hatred of the human soul itself. I know that is heavy as fuck, but that is literally the heaviness of the system that we're living in. A system that traps souls may try to act like they are the moral standard, but they are flat out lying. They're all lying. They're all just repeating shit somebody else told them to say, which contains no authenticity whatsoever. This is how the masses become conditioned by the matrix. Do you see the patterns? Start looking for the patterns within all of this shit. If it was really for your benefit, it would be easy and it would be free. And the government wouldn't have their hands in it. Because no matter what anybody tells you, the government is attached to mass religious indoctrination. I don't care what anybody says, they're connected. One is running the other. Some religion is behind our government. They fuel each other. And it's all bullshit. It's all spiritual crimes that the masses, when they're asleep, frivolously give themselves to in order to escape ridicule, in order to escape ego death. That's how badly people do not want to experience ego death. When all they need to do is experience the fucking ego death to get to the other side where true freedom is, in sovereign connection with the Most High. It's like, that is a trial and tribulation you have to go through. You have to prove that you're a badass by going through the ego death and not giving a fuck what Tom, Dick, and Harry, your mother and everybody else's mother, thinks about your connection with God. Because in reality, it doesn't matter what they think. It does not matter what they fucking think. Nobody can judge you but God. And that is between you and God. It's a sovereign connection. Sovereign connection between you and God. Not you, God, and a pastor. Because that pastor is hijacked. That pastor is a spiritual criminal. Period. There is no way around it. And until they wake up to that fact, they're going to continue to be subject to all the fucked up shit you hear about pastors doing. There's a reason that there's patterns within that. That is called blocked energy, spiritual crimes. You're gonna have to deal with the spiritual crimes somehow, and it's going to manifest into physical reality by way of fucked up shit like touching children. How do people not see this? It is sickness. Sickness from being disconnected from your sovereign connection with the Most High. It is a spiritual sickness. Law 2. Everything is built from Law 1. It is the root of all existence. Without Law 1, all others are more difficult to reach. All experience of life is created and manifested from the relationship in Law 1. So, that's all I was given on that. And I don't by any means view that as being all of that it is, but that is what I have. Okay, now we're moving into yesterday. What I have written down is the collective is going through, and what I am creating for the collective is a clearing of all false light templates. Oh, I was told it's going to be continuing through October 17th, we are going through this process of clearing all false light templates. So that's pretty badass. And then I've written down, we are seemingly forced to operate in a system that is criminal, where only the bottom is held responsible when the creators of the system itself are committing crimes and not held responsible, which isn't new. I mean, we've all known that. Okay, so is this morning? Yes, this is this morning. Or when I woke up, which was at like noon. Okay, so I got a little bit of Law 3, which I found this interesting. Everything in existence has an opposite, a duality, multi-sided, two-sided with many layers in between, a beginning and an end. One makes the decision to travel to the destination. That is the opposite of the starting point. Many places in between. The key is nominal balance in the center. The center within the body and soul. The center physically. And I'm not claiming to understand any of this. I mean, you know. Okay, so then I wrote a little diagram with the lower self over here, like the shadow self. And then at the other side is the ego mind, excess, the absolute excess of everything, ego mind. The center of those two are stabilization. The center of those two things are working in optimal everything. Mind, body, spirit, soul. And then I have written down, false light teaching tried to create this for the masses and failed due to out the gate committing spiritual fraud. Hence the chaos you see today. This center is only attainable through Law 1. And then I have written down to look up the book, The Law of One, after I complete this whole 7 law of transmission, because I've never read that book before, and I'm wondering if the Law of One has something to do with what I'm being taught here. Which, all of this is very fascinating to me, because this is something that I'm being taught in sovereignty with God. These aren't things that I've read in a book. These aren't things that I'm picking up from other places. This is what is coming through me, through my connection with God, onto the paper. So this whole belief that you need other people to teach you things is completely false. Well, not always, but I'm saying you don't need to look upon things outside of your body to teach you. You just have to have the way in which to receive the information in the sovereign connection with God. Yeah, the ego, the mind, the ego mind wants to be, well, you need some things to learn from others. Of course we need others. That's not what I'm saying. Of course we need unity. But what I'm saying is that you don't need religion, and you don't need somebody inflicting fear into you and telling you what your relationship with God should be, or what it should look like, or what's going to happen if you don't have it, or what's going to happen if you do something wrong. All of those are false light narratives. And if you continue to go along with it, you are submitting to spiritual crimes. And you will deal with repercussions from that. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. All right. I hope everyone is having a beautiful day. It is Saturday where I am. It's Saturday the 27th. A year ago today was Hurricane Helene in Asheville. A year ago today, I'm pretty sure. So, and there's other hurricanes upon the horizon right now coming towards us. So, I definitely feel that I'm doing some purging of traumatic stuff that was going on a year ago. Definitely not wanting to repeat any of it. And I'm just enjoying a quiet day, continuing on massive energy work that I'm doing. And yep. Still looking for the kitty in Hawaii. I look forward to that working itself out later on. And so yeah, I'm going to post some psychic development exercises, I think, here in a little bit. So I hope everyone has a beautiful day. If you have any questions, please let me know in the comments, or if there's anything else that you want me to share about, let me know and I will be happy to oblige. Bye.